Commissioners regular meeting. Today is Tuesday, August 19, 2025. It is 9 a.m. I'm calling this meeting to order. Please rise for an invocation by Commissioner Robert Lucero, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Tony Haas.
Heavenly Father, as we gather in this meeting, we come humbly before you, asking for your wisdom and understanding to guide us. We seek that wisdom, Lord, trusting that you will grant us the insight we need to navigate the decisions ahead. Lead us today in all ways that everything we do may bring about glory to you in your name. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioners. Roll call, Mr. Duncan.
Commissioner Hess,
Here.
Commissioner Searle,
Here.
Commissioner Lopez.
I am here. Approval of the agenda. Do we have any changes to the agenda, Mr. Duncan?
No changes, Commissioner.
Thank you, sir. I will entertain a motion.
So moved. Second motion.
Commissioner Hess,
Yes.
Commissioner Searle,
Yes.
Commissioner Lopez.
Yes. Thank you. We're going to go to section 2, consideration of minutes, consideration of special board of equalization hearing meeting minutes. Commissioners, we have those. We've had an opportunity to read them. Any additions, deletions, any comments?
None.
I will entertain a motion to approve that.
Move to approve the special BOE hearing meeting minutes.
I'll second that.
Commissioner Searle,
Yes.
Commissioner Hess,
Yes.
Commissioner Lopez.
Yes, thank you. On section 3, reading of correspondence, Commissioner Committee reports. Commissioner Haas, would you like to go first?
Sure. On August 6th, I was able to attend, I was invited to attend a meeting held at the Weston Firehouse that had to do with the potential geothermal development. About 10 ranchers were present and accompanied by the name of Furbo. Mateo Smith, the permitting specialist for Furbo, hosted the meeting and was the moderator. The permitting for geothermal will mimic gas well permitting. The area that was projected for development is north of Weston near Lopez and Burro Canyon. On August 7th, we had our legislative roundtable. This meeting, hosted by Los Animas County, was well attended by federal, state, and local authorities and was well received. On August 8th, probably the best time we had for the whole week, Los Animas County Employee Appreciation Dinner. We had a lot of fun at that dinner, and I think we had close to 40, 50 people there, so it was a good event. And thank you for everybody who works for us. They do a fantastic job. On the 11th of August, I attended the Action Colorado meeting. I'm Vice Chair of Action Colorado. We had a meeting about John Swartout attended, who used to be the director for Colorado Counties Incorporated, and he gave us an update on the Unified Wolf Coalition. I was asked if I would participate in the Unified Wolf Coalition as a member of Action Colorado, and I told the gentleman that I would. And these meetings are to unify and support impacted Colorado communities, producers, landowners, and hunting communities in response to the wolf reintroduction program as to develop a unified strategy across the state. We found out that day that there had been more depredations in Pitkin County, that the wolves had been moved, some of them moved, and they were from Grand County to Pitkin County, and Pitkin was suffering the losses now. Another meeting I attended on the 11th was South Central COG. They talked about the multimodal transportation fund grants that were going to be introduced, and they're going to be highly competitive. The qualifiers for this grant, they have to provide services to the handicapped for enhanced mobility, safe routes for school children, greenhouse gas mitigation projects that decrease vehicle miles, or increase multimodal travel. These are funded by state funding only, no longer any federal monies to be had. It's 30,000 is the, 300,000 is the total that can be paid out on a project cost, and 25,000 would be the minimum. Let's see here. Also on the 11th, attended the CCI Renewable Energy Working Group, and it was interesting to hear that this is to do with green energy development and the new rules and regs that are being contemplated. It was interesting to learn that Delta County had a 4-acre agrivoltaic initially denied the bill and got hammered by the enviros. They denied the development of that solar field because they wanted to meet agrivoltaic standards, and they denied it, and the enviros were pretty upset about that. So Watch has outright banned solar production unless it meets agrivoltaic standards. So they're looking at dual purpose and not tying their lineage, their grandchildren to a decision that they made. If they want to continue to operate as a ranch later on, they're able to do that. Commissioner Coons and McCracken, we had a question: had your counties previously approved solar without agrivoltaics? If so, can you tell one landowner you can do it without voltaic standards and one landowner that you have to comply? And would that possibly increase the cost for the build, and that producer may go somewhere else? Go to a county that has less stringent standards. And they said yes, that had actually happened, and Saguache did a suit. And it took about 8 months, but Saguache County came out on top of that. On the 12th of August, had the oral history meeting again with Melissa Beatty from the Spanish Peaks Outdoor Coalition, and I had Margie Farindelli from History Colorado. We're working on the planning and the logistics. So far I have 6 individuals that are going to tell their history out there in the Kim area. We'll do another one in the Branson area later. We're losing that history. I've attended 4 funerals in the last couple of months, and we need to get that history before it's lost. And by doing that, I'm helping a friend, Margie Farindelli, with History Colorado. She wanted me to help introduce her to the ranchers out in the area. And also with the Spanish Peaks Outdoor Coalition, this gives an opportunity to meet Melissa Beatty with the agritourism portion of that Spanish Peaks Outdoor Coalition. I'm also on that board. And we're honoring our local heritage, and any project moving forward on any ranch is totally voluntary, and if they can put the sideboards on it and can produce some funds by allowing agritourism on their place and helps them buy that one more load of hay, I'm all for it. That's private property rights. On the 15th of August, we had a SNAP meeting, CCI and the bill sponsors, Senator Jeanette and Senator Wallace, wanted to give us an update on a bill that they're going to introduce called Healthy School Meals for All. This bill would raise a cash fund with a reserve for a total of $120 million, $70 million for a SNAP program, and $50 million for administration. Any dollars not used would go into a reserve. My question to the bill sponsors was, within this proposal, are there any assurances that the reserve funds couldn't be swept to help bolster the state budget deficit and solely be used for SNAP and the meal program? They said no assurances. That was disappointing to hear that. On the 15th of August, the Colorado Energy Office had a hearing hosted by CCI on Senate Bill 24-212. and evaluates local government processes for siting of commercially available renewable energy projects and commercial energy transmission. Evaluates the impact of renewable energy projects and transmission facilities on wildlife resources, the use of wildlife mitigation, decommissioning and community benefits agreements, and a range of fees imposed by local governments. There's some speculation that this is an attempt to claw back the county's 1041 powers. The gentlemen here at this table have attended meetings where there were multiple counties that said, not in our county, we don't want green energy. And in my opinion, this is an attempt to spank those counties into compliance and thus losing their 1041 rights. On August 18th, the special session call was held by Representative Winter. He told us about the deficit that's going on that I just alluded to. $1.2 billion in deficit dominated the call. Expenditure increases government-wide are growing at a faster rate than revenue growth. Currently, the focus of the special session is to address revenue rather than contemplating what would be the lead in long-term stability. Key takeaways from all three meetings that I've attended: state government spending grew from $3.2 billion in fiscal year 2020 and 2021 to $465 billion in 25 and 26. This was before the accounting for HR 1. Healthcare spending increased by 367% over the last 16 years, from $3.9 billion in 09 to 2010 to $18.2 billion in the fiscal year 25 and 26. And our general fund spending rose 6.5%, reaching $16 billion. And that's my report, sir.
Thank you, Commissioner Harris. Commissioner Lucero.
I'm going to keep mine short because the number of meetings that I attended are the same ones that Commissioner has or Commissioner Lopez have taken part in. The only difference is August 9th, I attended the 100th anniversary TSJC dinner to celebrate their anniversary, year anniversary. Also, yesterday, August 18th, I had an OPI meeting in Lahana. I attended that via Zoom because there wasn't a whole lot of items on there. There was no pending loans that needed to be voted on. Also, then the one thing on the county renewable energy working group that we sat in on yesterday. It's been ongoing. It's Senate Bill 24-212. I'm kind of bringing myself up to date on a lot of this, as this was enacted before I was a commissioner, so I'm kind of bringing myself up to date on all of that. So that's pretty much my report.
Thank you, Commissioner Lucero. Let me take one quick second to make an announcement. The agenda today has two public hearings. And so at 10 o'clock, regardless of where we are with the regular agenda, we're going to go into the public hearings. We're going to be taking testimony, sworn testimony from these two particular projects. So as we go through the process, bear with us that if we are in whatever meeting, we're going to take a quick recess to enter into the public hearing promptly at 10 a.m. as they were advertised and listed at that time. So a couple of just very quick points. Commissioner Haas and Lucero mentioned that we pretty much attended those meetings in tandem. So one of the good things that the meeting that was held on 8/11, the Multimodal Transportation Mitigation Options Fund, as we mentioned, about $300,000. Los Angeles County is contemplating submitting an application for that. We have selected a project that would enhance the wellness and safety of our constituents, so we're going to be working on that. As we get more information, Mr. Camp and I have been in conversations, and he's been in conversations with CDOT, putting all the all the parameters of that particular project. We continue to assess the county fairgrounds, and the project will be right inside of the county fairgrounds to attract more citizens to that part of the city. And in a safe manner, we'd like to continue to develop a walkway and a bike trail inside of the facility. We have, as of recent, built a basketball court. We have an endurance training course in there. We have access to families, so that's going to be one of the projects. And let me just highlight a couple of the Senate Bill 24 to 12. With these public hearings that we're having, meeting the rising electricity demand, maintaining grid reliability, meeting state greenhouse gas pollution reduction goals, and providing reasonably priced electricity is likely to require continued implementation of all these energies. One of the things that we continue to say is that recognize the role of county government, that we county government play in seeding those particular projects and facilities. Clean energy infrastructure in Colorado. This particular bill, Senate Bill 24 to 12, is directing the Colorado Energy Office and the Department of Natural Resources to develop a report, which is what they're collecting right now, related to the permitting processes. So we have to have a little bit of a crossover between one county and the next in order for us to be able to meet the demands of the 21st century. The one last project I want to mention is the special session. It is going to begin this Friday. So if anyone is interested in listening to what's happening, go to the Colorado General Assembly, log in, you can listen to the bills, the arguments, and if you get an opportunity, you can provide testimony if and when it's open to the public. You don't have to travel to Denver, so that is very convenient to provide your perspective at the state level. So look, Colorado General Assembly, special session, go in there, find out what the schedule of activities, that's going to be on Friday. And by the way, that day as well is the first day of the Colorado State Fair, and there is a legislative gathering of all elected officials in the state of Colorado that go to the state fair. So I'm hoping that they're not going to be the representatives and the senators are going to have time to come back and attend that, because that is to congratulate all the producers, the agricultural producers of the state, bringing their product to the state fair. So get involved, provide comment, and the opportunity is very, very accessible. So that's going to be my report, commissioners. And now we're going to go to the elected officials update. Good morning. We have Los Animas County Assessor, Ms. Amaro, which I think just came back from a conference.
Good morning. Yes,
Good
I
morning.
did. Last week I attended the Colorado Assessors Association's conference, and it was definitely a heated one. We had a lot of fireworks, a lot of conversation. To start off, I know I've been in conversations with commissioners about the possibility of CAA taking on a bill about solar farms, and that the land underneath be assessed as a commercial or an industrial. We, as the body of the Colorado Assessors Association, have voted that down. The majority of our counties and those that have solar farms in there, they are on ag acreage as the law reads now. If that land is ag, it is to be valued as ag once the solar farm is on there. So unfortunately, the county that brought it forth, we voted not to carry that bill forward as an Assessors Association. I do believe it will be coming to CCI, and that bill will be something that you all can look at as taking it forward if CCI would like to. But we felt that it was not. We've reached out to the producers and the folks within each individual county. Ag valuation is what was brought back to us that they would like to maintain. So we do what our constituents ask, just like you all do. So as CAA, we decided we are not going to take it forward as an assessor's bill. We are running a bill for some cleanup language due to the previous two special sessions to try and get dates to coincide with each other like they did before legislation got into the business of assessment. We are also asking for some of those dates now. You have an extra week to protest. We're asking to roll that back to the end of May, like it was previously for 20-some years. There's just some cleanup language we need to look at that the folks that wrote the two bills through the special session weren't aware of. So we've got about 15 points that we're hoping we will get. It's a bill that we are going to set forward. We are a little nervous because special session does start the 21st. As of last week, there hasn't been any smoke as to anything related to assessors or assessment, but there was a line item agenda that stated tax initiatives and tax purposes. So we are going to be watching that with definite eagle eyes to see what comes from that. But at this time, we were told this was strictly for the Fed bill and the budget. So we will see what happens. All county assessors are trying to get their abstracts and certifications done. Those are statutorily due by the 25th. Tyler was just able to get us updated last week. So we are trying to ensure that those programs and our numbers and our reports are correct. So I will be asking, once we get that put together and done, I will need, Chairman, your signature. So as soon as we get it done, I will get it to Ms. Paula, and if you would run in and put your signature on all 72 pages of that, we'd appreciate it. We're trying to get it to by statute, I have to get it out the door and postmarked by the 25th. So we're working diligently right now to try and get that done, seeing as how I will be gone the rest of this week taking a child to college. So I'm trying to, we're burning the midnight oil to get that accomplished. At this time, like I said, once we get those numbers compiled and ensure that they are as accurate as we can get them, we're a little hesitant with our system at the moment. We had to do so many upgrades and so many changes to how the system runs and how the coding, they had to rewrite code because of the previous bills that came out of the last two extraordinary sessions and special sessions. It has blown up our computer systems. So we are asking legislatures, I spoke to many of them last week, please, please, please do not change anything. We are just trying to get legislation implemented from 2 years ago so we can function now. The biggest thing is that decoupling from all entities and school districts. School districts, we are waiting to see what that assessment rate will be. The state has not let us know yet. We're hoping to get that soon because we cannot accurately tell the entities the values they're getting, especially school districts, without that assessment rate. And at this time, the state does not have it.
So it's going to be interesting at CCI dialogue. Is Dolores County then going forward with their proposal?
I believe Dolores County is going forward with a proposal. Speaking with their assessor and speaking to a few other, their commissioner, we had a little Zoom conversation.
Good.
It sounds like this is a very small solar garden, not a large solar farm, because by state statute, if it produces so many kilowatts, it jumps into state assessed. This is a locally assessed solar farm or garden. So this one, it's going to be interesting. Our concern was we hate to be changing laws for one site-specific property out of 64 counties.
Sure.
But you're welcome to ask me questions anytime you need to.
Thank you, Samara, and safe travels this week.
Thank you. Somebody better say a prayer. I need tissue.
I think Joey needs to.
Yes, he
We'll provide our
is.
kids. Let me call on anyone from the clerk and recorder's office, treasurer's office, sheriff's office, district attorney, coroner. Hearing none, we're going to go now to, we have a couple of presentations. Larry Castor with Enterprise. Good morning. Larry, how are you, sir?
Good morning, thank you.
Please
Very
come
well,
up.
how about yourself? We too just took a kid to college,
Oh, gosh.
and my wife is still trying to.
We are going to be taking a granddaughter, so we understand.
Yeah, right? We got back Sunday night, so. That hangs out.
Thank you.
Two extra for you. All right, thank you guys for taking the time to hear what we have to say, so I appreciate it.
You're welcome, thank you, welcome.
Yeah. So Keith and I have worked together. Keith from your Public Works office, we took a look at the fleet. What you have in front of you is what we call menu pricing. And so based on my conversations with Keith and kind of the needs of the county, he said, let's look at a replacement of similar trucks. He said we need vehicles that we can use for multiple uses. And so what we're doing is showing a selection of Ford, Chevy, Dodge, regular cab and extended cab. The one that's highlighted in yellow came in best in class for cost. At the end of the day, you guys pick what you want, whether you want Ford, Chevy, Dodge, whatever. The one that's highlighted just happened to be, like I said, best in class. What we're showing is this is a 2026 Ram 3/4 ton regular cab 4x4 with an 8-foot box. And we're showing a lease on this. And so what this is a 60-month term, so 5 years. We're estimating about 10,000 miles a year. That's pretty much your average for your work vehicles. Payment on that would be $857.61. I do offer maintenance if you guys need maintenance. I know you guys do maintenance in-house, so that is a complete optional if you guys need help with that. And then he wanted snowplows. And so these are a Western snowplow on it. It's a $10,000 plow. That's an installed item. How Enterprise works is when we do equipment, anything over $5,000, we ask the county to pay half of the equipment cost at time of delivery. So if we do 10 vehicles, that's going to be $100,000 total of equipment. So we're showing $50,000 as a down. You guys are paying cash right now for the full vehicles, equipment anyway, so typically I don't get a lot of pushback from our government partners for a little bit amount down. So you'll see that up top, you'll see the $50,000 as a one-time aftermarket cost. And then if we did 10 vehicles, that monthly cost annualized is $114,000. So what you're seeing is by being able to lease, you get to spread your costs. So right now you guys can buy 2.2 vehicles for the same cost if you pay cash, or we can bring in 10 vehicles to help you replace. You have very aged, high mileage vehicles, a lot of downtime, a lot of issues, so this will allow you to start replenishing your vehicles. And then if you look towards the right, we have a residual. So our leases are open-ended equity leases. They're a municipal type lease structure, no mileage restrictions, no wear and tear charges. At the end of the term, it's on the books for a residual amount. The residual payoff, reduced book value, all mean the same thing. So at the end of 5 years, it's on the books for $88.85. At the end of the term, you have a couple options. If you decide you want to keep the vehicles, you can keep making payments and pay it off. You can stroke a check and pay off the residual, or you can turn it in. If you turn it in, Enterprise will sell that vehicle for you. We're estimating that the vehicle's worth about $21,800, I'm rounding. And if we sold that vehicle, that difference between what it's on your books for, the residual, and what it sells for is your equity. It's designed that the equity comes back to the county. We recommend keeping it in the fleet to offset your costs. Most of the counties and cities and towns we work with in Colorado use the equity to roll right back into the fleet for the new vehicle. So it lowers your cost or keeps your costs low or the same. And so we're estimating that one has almost $13,000 of equity. So what this allows you to do is start replacing your vehicles a little quicker, so you start having more efficiency, your maintenance costs start lowering, your fuel costs start lowering because you have new technology. It's allowing you guys to catch up, because right now, you guys don't replace a lot of vehicles. And so this is an option that most of our government departments are on. I also on here have a police vehicle. At the very bottom, you guys are doing some Chevy trucks. So this example is just a Chevy 1500. That's a half-ton pickup truck, 4x4, and it's a PPV package, which is a police package. And then I don't know exactly the equipment you put on it, but I work with a lot of police departments and sheriff departments. They range anywhere from $20,000 to $30,000 of equipment. That's push bars, cages, lights, the whole package. And so I'm just showing an estimate of 30,000. It could be higher or lower depending on what the sheriff wants. So again, if it's over $5,000, we ask for the county to put down 50%. So you'll see a $15,000 down payment at time of delivery. Again, the residual on that truck is $6,400. Now, police vehicles don't bring the same as, say, a non-police because people know they're road hard, right? A lot of idle time, sometimes hard acceleration, hard stops, hitting curbs, whatever. And so we're estimating about $16,000 of resale value if you turn it in about 5 years. And then all equity will come back, and there's there's just over $9,500 assuming equity on those vehicles. Again, you don't have to turn them in 5 years, but it's an option. And a lot of our police departments try to cycle sooner because officer safety is huge. You can't have somebody out on I-25 with a breakdown. So a lot of them cycle a little bit sooner, but I wanted to show you some options. Again, we can do any vehicle, whether you want Ford, Chevy, Dodge, whatever. These are just examples.
Thank you, Larry, for this information. So let me ask you, on the receivable, is that part of the whole package, or is there a percentage once, say that the county decided we're going to resell through Enterprise, sell this vehicle to the open market, rather than buying it for us for $8,400, we're going to go ahead and get the $21,000. Is there a commission in there to do the very last transaction?
Yes. There's a $400 fee for us to handle the sale of the vehicle. That covers everything. The sale of the vehicle, transfer title, paperwork, funds, everything. That's a great question.
And the other question that I have on our police vehicles, is there, and I don't know, some of these current vehicles that we have at the county level have been equipped with the latest and greatest technology. Is there an opportunity to transfer that onto existing technology onto a new vehicle, or do they always go with, okay?
Absolutely. So I see a lot of police departments transfer like their radar systems, the computer systems, those kinds of things. I see a lot. Keep in mind a vehicle that's 5 years old, it's probably different. It looks different, it probably has been redesigned, so a lot of times the equipment that's on that police vehicle won't fit exactly, like the cage would be different, or the push bar. So a lot of equipment cannot be moved to one, but some of it can, absolutely. Now, going back to the pickup trucks, like the plows, absolutely. In 5 years, if the plow's in good shape, just move it to the next truck, and you don't need to buy another plow.
Sure.
Yeah, great question.
How is the inventory? I know lately we at the county has procured several vehicles, and the delivery time has been up to even 24 months.
Yes. Fortunately, delivery time is so much better now. After COVID, manufacturers are back to making vehicles, getting quicker. Some exceptions. Chevy Tahoe, for example, they're on allocation, and allocation means that you can't just go order 15 vehicles. You actually have to get approval from General Motors for the amount of vehicles. And a lot of times you won't get your full order because you're competing with other entities out there, right? Like State Patrol or Denver City and County, or some of these big entities who order, 50, 100 vehicles. Well, they typically get the lion's share because of how many vehicles they typically do. So on certain vehicles there are some limits. Timing-wise, going with a domestic vehicle, so not a Toyota or a Nissan, you should be able to get those in 4 months, 5 months, depending on timing, depending on when they start production. Way much better than a couple years ago where they're, year plus out. The only concern with police vehicles is equipment. You have to get in line, they have to order the equipment, and the production is really behind. So keep that in mind. You guys pick whoever you want to do the outfit, but you'll want to have the sheriff talk to whoever's going to be doing the outfit way in advance, saying, okay, we're going to be ordering trucks. They should be in 3-4 months. Let's start the process. Let's order the equipment. Get me scheduled in, because that could actually take a year. We have plenty of vehicles that have set for a year last year for police vehicles because of equipment.
I'm going to ask one probably very common question, but the color of a vehicle, counties identify with a certain color.
Yep.
Is that an option?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You pick whatever color you want.
And then my last question is, I'm looking at doing a bit of a basic math. So we're looking at if the county decided that we wanted to engage on these 10 new trucks, we're looking at approximately $129,000 of a lease payment over every single year for 5 years.
So on the pickup, it's $114,000 for the lease payment per year. The $50,000 down payment is for the equipment, and so one time down.
All right,
It's not next year. That would go away.
all right. I look to our finance director, and I know she does magic, but I'm wondering if this magic is gonna be, looking at the whole thing. But no, these commissioners, any questions for,
Yeah, and maybe this would be directed to Bill or Keith, but are we entertaining automatic transmissions, standard transmissions? And is standard transmission available at all on the EVs?
No, I haven't done a vehicle in the last 5-10 years that have a standard option. They're all automatic.
wow,
Yeah. Not
but
interested.
not electric?
What's funny is that kids these days can't drive it. A lot of them can't drive it. It's the way to keep theft. You can't steal a car, they can't drive it. Yeah, that's a great question though.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I have
Thank you. Well, sir, it is something now for us to digest. I see some shaking heads back there. So let us go through the numbers. And want to thank you for putting this package together. And certainly, dependability leads to productivity, and I will even translate that to employee morale.
Oh, absolutely.
So.
Nobody wants to drive a 25-year-old truck with 180,000 miles on it, right? The feeling of, am I going to make it to my job?
Well, my dad still has a 1972, and I love to drive that truck, so.
Well, that's probably different. Probably just,
I just hope that we got 283,000 on our Dodge truck, and
nice.
we brag about that, so.
I would just hope the employee would want to get out of that vehicle and get a piece of equipment. It's supposed to be not parked.
Yeah.
Nice.
One other thing I forgot to mention is that we are part of Sourcewell. Sourcewell is a purchasing cooperative that we guys are members of. What that means is it allows you not to have to go to RFP because the due diligence has already been done. So it makes your time and effort so much easier, especially with procurement. And because of the pricing, Enterprise does not mark up pricing. So for example, if you can order the vehicle for $50,000, so can I. We don't mark it up. That's what we lease it for, is $50,000. So we will not be ever more expensive. Best case will be less expensive because sometimes, like when we buy off state bid, we can actually beat state bid on certain items. So it means that you guys get the best price from the get-go. So that's one of the benefits of being part of Sourcewell. Any other questions?
I don't see any.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out.
Very good. And through using drone camp or we'll stay connected with you, sir.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
All right.
I appreciate your time.
We have now Road and Bridge Supervisor Keith Woodring. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Did you guys get the handouts?
We did.
So I just wanted to let you know that, I believe it was July 29th, I met with the BNSF Railway about some crossings in Starkville. 18.3, they are going to do the, take all the overhead electricity off, and they're going to do gates, the lights, everything's good with that intersection. On the Railroad Avenue, we call it north, the 03351J, that's the one in your diagram that cuts across in the north end of Starkville. I got a map that I showed you, it's got a white box line This railroad crossing, they like to close. They've asked to close it down because of the hazards of this intersection. In the white box, it shows, of course, the crossing. And then in the red line, that is a road that actually is on railroad property that goes up to the cemetery for Starkville, which they don't know if it has permission to go that way. They don't want to close that road down. They don't want to get into that stuff, but that's one of the areas that's kind of in consideration. It's also a red line because if they put the gates, if we don't decide to close this railroad down, they're going to still put the gates, all the crossing lights, because the overhead line will go away. The bars will not actually cross the entire road, so people that are at the cemetery road could make a left-hand turn without a barricade. Same as with the orange on the bottom side on County Road 69 below, they could make a left-hand turn without the railroad crossings there. So they're concerned about people still avoiding that crossing. There is a shed, there's an 8x8 foot shack that needs to be built for all the electronic stuff that's going to take place. That was actually scheduled to be over in the 69.9 road in that area. So if they leave that road there, they want to put it in that little blue square, which would then...
Keith, you don't have the, you just sent it in the latest, what they're looking at.
Oh, so do you have this at all?
No, that one.
Okay.
No, we do have two other ones. Do you have those?
I just, no,
I'm sorry.
that's not your fault. Yes, you sent those and then,
So I'll let you kind of, the little, if you see the little blue square, that's where they're going to have to put the 8x8 foot shed, which is real close to County Road 69. They have to be so many feet off that. They have to be so many feet off the railroad. They think they can fit it there. We took some measurements. They would have to build a retaining wall to protect it. And in that handout that looks like this, it shows on that 18.3 intersection what I'm responsible for doing. No big deal. Cut some trees down, add some signs that are missing. In the 0335T 1J, the county would have to add the missing signs. They would like me to do traffic counts, because I said it's probably not a really big used area. But they would like to look for a different access to the cemetery. They would like the center line to be refreshed, and they would need some stop signs that would stop people on the in the orange marking that would say stop here when lights are flashing, so they wouldn't be able to make that turn to the left. And also on the red line, they don't need to put a stop sign in there that says stop here when lights are flashing, so they wouldn't make the turn to the right. There would also be another stop sign near the orange one to stop the traffic from pulling out onto that road that cuts across Railroad Avenue. So just a lot of signs that would need to go in that area. If we decide to close the this railroad crossing down, BNSF is preparing to give the county $200,000 matched by $100,000 from Amtrak, and they said that CDOT would possibly also give us another $100,000. $300,000 to use for any kind of road work, road maintenance, and upgrades in that road area. They also said the third crossing that was in the map, we would call it the south crossing. That's not scheduled for any upgrades right now. If we close the center crossing here down, the one we're talking about, they would upgrade that one with all the new concrete crossings, move that over so it would be more straight line crossing. The approaches would be changed so it would be asphalt paving instead of gravel on one side and paving on the other. But they would do all that work with the new gates, guards, bells and whistle for no charge. No charge to the county. So they'd upgrade that one, enhance it, make it look nicer and safer if we close down the south crossing.
So Keith, they have worked with the community of Starkville, with all the residents. I would imagine the railroad is already communications with them.
That I'm not aware of.
Yeah. Well, and then the second thing, for us as the county, the nexus that I think we find is that there's a county road that leads to that community. And for us, I believe that, I mean, all of this makes sense. They have the engineers, they have the traffic studies, they have whatever it needs. My thing is, how do we fit in there?
Keith and I have had this discussion, Commissioner, but my biggest concern with closing any railroad crossing, especially out there in Starkville, where there's one egress and ingress. If there's to be an accident on that southern, I want to keep open on that southern railroad crossing, and we need to evacuate, how are those folks going to get out of that community? It's not identical, but it's similar to what happened over at the Holy School.
So right now, we have two exits from that community. We have the southern one and the one that.
And the northern one that they're wanting to close.
Right. And again, you know, for us, I mean, I don't think the county has jurisdictional authority to tell, you know, support their plan unless they meet with the constituents. And the constituents really, and then the fire district and all the EMT services have to be involved. Exactly what you said. If there is an accident on the southern entrance, we don't have any exit. There is not, as you go to the northern exit, unless you go right there, as you're going out to the Starkville Cemetery Road, there is just not a way to create an exit to the county road that leads up to highway to the state park.
Not in my opinion, the only crossing there is the crossing of the close that actually bounce across the tracks on that will work trying to evacuate people.
I think, you know, from my personal opinion, it would be to have that community town hall meeting with the residents, with the emergency response services. We never want to be participatory in a perspective that puts anybody's life, health, safety at risk. You know, especially if, you know, the county, we take a penny from the railroad, and all of a sudden, there's an accident. I just don't want us linked to that. I'd rather let the community decide. I think this conversation, how soon do they need to know?
They haven't given me a deadline. We met at July 29th. I believe that they're going to start the 18.3 because there's no issue fixing that.
Sure.
Whether we decide to close it or not, it's just, they will have, again, the concerns of safety that is brought up about crossing the road. But then the county I will have to do a lot more signage there, which I don't have to be doing.
Sure.
The one thing I told Phil is I just wanted you guys to know this, bring it out in the open, because they have closed intersections through the Railroad Commission without our approvals, and I just don't want it to be a surprise. So I think one of the reasons I'm doing traffic studies, they want to see how many people are really crossing that center line, the middle one.
Then what they really need to look at is, I think the majority of that community comes out through the north entrance. I would think, unless they have a business to go around the loop. But I think if you can, I would definitely, between the two of you, keep the conversations going. And if there's a town hall meeting and the community says, absolutely, we're okay with that, then I don't think we are going to stand in the way of anyone closing that. That's federal jurisdiction. Federal, and again, and I'm glad that you mentioned that they're going to leave the entrance to the Starkville Cemetery, because usually we get a request from time to time to get those roads in service for the services of a burial and that type of thing. So our nexus is to kind of think, and thank you for bringing that information to us. I really believe that that's so imperative, but on the other hand, I'd rather the community says, absolutely, go ahead and do it, and then we have absolutely now better the process once it's sure.
I'll work on that.
A question that's probably irrelevant at this time because we want the community to decide, but those funds that could possibly be available, the 200, the 100, and the 100, are they to be allocated only for this area?
No, they said it could be used in Los Angeles County roads throughout. So there could be some use for it though in that area.
Yes, you're paving some of the roads there, there is so much.
You'll contact the NSF and see if they can
Yes.
set up a community.
Yeah. Get a hold of them
Keep us posted, sir.
Thanks.
I think it's important to get, because there's a fire station up there,
Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll notify you. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Let me call now, we're gonna, what a great set of very informational issues. Let me call now on, we got public comment. I think we might have somebody else sign up, Mr. Lindell. David Sampson with Mount Carmel Veterans Service Center. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, sir. Doing great. So in a period where most things have come out of bad news, I have some good news to report.
Thank you.
So I've been running the Veteran Service Center the last 18 months, and one of our main functions is I operate food pantries for veterans and their families. We serve around 30 members a month. It's been growing a little each month, and of course this year it's been a little bit of a challenge keeping it stocked because of cutbacks and those kinds of things. So this is a twofold thing. Number one, Helping Hands is going to start helping me stock my food pantry so it'll be a little bit more consistent for the veterans that come in. But the other big event is they're agreed to come to Los Animas County to do a mobile food pantry. And this is in addition to what we do at the fairgrounds every month, because I work out there almost every month. So this would be a pantry that's open to the public, not just veterans. And instead of everybody getting the same box, it's a situation where a big truck shows up, the people park, and then they go in with their shopping bags and they get what they want out of the items that are available. So we have been operating this in Pueblo for the last 8 or 9 months up at our campus and up at the hospital. And of course, it's a lot larger scale. There's about 300 people that come through. And everything's set up on pallets and they just walk through and get what they want. But it's something to supplement what we already have in the county. And we are looking at doing it October, November, December as a pilot to see how it works. And then the other part of the equation is it's going to be kind of a community outreach opportunity. So if there's organizations that want to talk to the community that provide services, they can come out and be set up out there and talk to the people as they come out and get their food. Say, hey, here's what we do for the community. So that's what we're looking at. I talked to Mr. Nordkamp last month about using the fairgrounds because we don't need a building, we just need an open area where the truck can park and then people can park and then they walk in and get the things that they need to move on. So that's what I'm here to say.
Well, thank you, sir. You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you for that information. We have time for one more 3 minutes. So at this point in time, sir, on public comment, we're not allowed to ask. We don't usually ask any questions, but thank you for your input.
Okay, yeah, and I'll leave some cards with Mr. Nordkamp if you guys want to reach out to me. Appreciate
Thank you.
your time.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Del Harris. Please. And you'll have 3 minutes as well, sir.
I think he's with our presentation.
Oh,
So-
all right. Well,
Yes, I thought I was gonna present that.
okay, there you go. Well, on that note, I am going to take the liberty at this point in time to call for recess. I will entertain a motion to suspend this Board of County Commissioners. I am with recess to start exactly at 10 a.m. so we can enter into the public hearing.
So moved.
Second?
Commissioner Stewart?
Yes.
Commissioner Hess?
Yes.
Commissioner Lopez?
Yes, thank you.
Recording stopped.